I kind of forgot about this one. I don't know what happened, man. Got hid back in the back of the beer fridge. Brewed with KC Local Coffee. All the love. Love Coffee Stout from Martin City Brewing. Picked up this one back in October, I think. Anyway, it's a nice coffee stout at 6%. Show that to you. And I paired it with another Kansas City product, the Gully Town Straight Single Malt American Whiskey. That 92 proof that whiskey is. So I'll get a couple ounces here. Uh, uh, it's Tuesday. Why are you going live on a Tuesday, Tom? Well, I'm off. My schedule has changed. My life has kind of changed a little bit. Yeah, I gave up a gig I had for 5 years. That was kind of the main bread and butter, if you will, and I took a chance. That's something that started part time. We'll work into more, and so far it's working. Well, so I'm not as mentally stressed as I once was. I still work. I mean, I'm old. Things hurt. But I don't have that mental stress and anguish I once had. It was nice. It was time. The job had kind of changed from what it originally was, and the management had changed, and the policies have changed, and everybody I knew was gone, and it was certainly time for me to move on. But I certainly loved my new gig, doing what I do. It's a little different. Sometimes you just have to reinvent yourself after a while. I mean, I was in retail for so long, I got to the point where I didn't think I could do anything else because, well, I mean, you get to thinking, well, the money's good, and I'm not going to make the money if I make a change. But sometimes you got to take that risk and make a change. And that's what I did. I left retail after about 30, 35 years ish. And went to work as a beer sales rep for Saddlebach back in about 2016. Even though the money was less to start with, the experience was well, it was worth the experience. What I learned in that industry, taking it from one to another, and I spent so many years managing people and managing an inventory and managing a budget that it worked well with the gig that I got after that, that I had for the 5 years. And now I've kind of transferred that knowledge to what I'm doing now. And there's always something else you have to learn. But if you're paying attention, you can always take that knowledge and apply it to what you're doing now. And that's what I've tried to do. I am very happy though, and I think everybody that knows me knows. Tom, you seem a lot happier. Yeah, I am a lot happy because I'm doing something that I very much love for a company that generally seems to appreciate what I bring to the table, and that's kind of a nice feeling because that feeling had been missing for about the last. Well, just about 2 years. The last 2 years were kind of brutal, but the last 6 months were just excruciating, to be honest with you. So it is nice to be where I feel very appreciated. Using my Martin City glass, I thought I drank all these. Found I had a couple left, so I thought, well, I better drink them because I know I've had these for a while. Anyways, it is a nice coffee stout. It is a little thinner body than many. It is interesting though. A lot of coffee stouts are all about the coffee. This one really is as much about the stout as it is the coffee. So maybe that's why I enjoy it because it is balanced so impeccably well. The Gully Town. I love Restless Spirits. I got to tell you, these guys are just insanely good. Oh, straight single American malt whiskey, aged in new charred oak barrels. Double distilled in pot stills, straight single American malt whiskey. So there you go. The stuff is gorgeous. It is just amazing. I love this category. I love this American single malt category because I love that every distillery that I've tried one from is so vastly different. It's hard to imagine it is the same category, but it is. They're all able to do something so distinctively different with the same idea. It's just amazing. But Restless Spirits is just gorgeous. A little sweet initially on the nose. You might get notes of toffee. You might find some deep brown sugar notes because you feel some molasses, but you also feel a lot of oak. Ah. But you check the nose and it feels very sweet. Then you take a drink and it's not as sweet as a nose might lead you to believe it's going to be. You might get some fruit notes in there. It's really between you and your palate, to be honest with you, because you're just not going to taste things you don't know. Some people say, well, you're definitely going to taste date and fig, but if you don't eat dates and or figs, you're not going to taste those. So it really depends on you and your taste buds. So you may pick up some date and or fig. You may pick up some dark cherry notes. I don't think it'd be unusual to pick up some stone fruit as well, some very deep, dark overripe plum. You might even feel some apricot in there. Some nutty notes wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility either. Some black walnut notes could appear. Because it's all about interpretation, right? Those things aren't in here, so it's all how your brain deciphers what is, what you're tasting. But there is a little bit of sweetness initially, but it dries up so nicely in the finish. Beautiful oak, a nice amount of spice, the right amount of spice, not enough to take over, but enough to balance it all out. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, for me, I end up, there are folks who are going to pick up a lot more fruit notes than I will. But for me, I tend to pick up a lot of spice notes because I cook and eat a lot of spices. I cook with, I probably should have said. Cinnamon tends to be a generality. You tend to get a lot of cinnamon from the oak, but for me, I also pick up some allspice, some ginger. Like I said, it's all about interpretation, right? I'm gonna set that down. I'm gonna pick this beer back up for a second. Oh, I kind of enjoy having a day off in the middle of the week. The problem is, I want to hang out with my friends from the Longer Room guys. They do their podcast. Usually starts about 5:36 ish Central Standard Time. Uh, but I used to have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. So when I was a guest on the show, it was rather difficult because you don't want to really be drinking much if you got to go to bed early. And I'd have to go to bed about 9. Now I'm not having to wake up early, and so my schedule is a little different. Oh, I may have to augment it like I did before. I worked 2 jobs for a little over a year, and that kind of took its toll on me, to be honest with you. Ah. So it was a bit of a, well, it still is. It still is a risk to do what I did, but sometimes you got to take a chance and roll the dice. I mean, I took a chance. I've done that several times throughout my lifetime, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I felt this was a good risk, right? I knew I was working for great people. I knew they had a great concept, a great business, and I knew I just had to do my part, right? Be in it 100% and just do all I needed to do to make it succeed. And I just Gosh, I just I don't know that I've loved doing a job more than I love the one I'm doing right now, and I'm damn near 59 years old saying that. So it's taken me 59 years to find my true calling, which is being a bartender. Some people find that early in life. It took me 59 years to realize I was meant to be a bartender. Ah, it is rather enjoyable though, and I don't think it would work with any place else than where I am at the moment because this particular outfit is just so amazing. It's just, I mean, it is the people I work for. It is the place, but it's also about but the folks that are there, the customers that they kind of make you family. So we set that down for a second. Yeah, I do want to kind of reiterate that this coffee stout, I've ran into folks that really like it and not as much, and a lot of it is the same reason because that coffee does not overtake the stout, right? A lot of folks want their coffee stout to be all about the coffee. For me, I don't want the anytime I have any flavored anything, I don't want it to overtake the beer. So for me, this one works. But if you want your stout to be nothing but coffee, this might not be the one for you. But for me, I think they've got it balanced perfectly. And this whiskey, I mean, I've said this ad nauseum at this point. If you've seen some videos with me at Restless Spirits, but I was at the distillery once, and my experience there could not be better. They were great. The customer service was impeccable. They didn't mind answering questions, so I didn't mind buying products, right? If you act like you're irritated if I ask a question about a specific product, I'm probably not going to buy it from you. But if you enthusiastically answer and even go above and beyond, which is what I feel they did at Restless Spirits, I feel like they went above and beyond. So I didn't mind spending as much as I did because I knew the products were just that good. They really were or are. One of the products from there I really love. I bought two of these, and now I'm down to my last one. A little over half a bottle. It's the Padraig's Rebellion Pachin. It's 100% malted barley. It's all malted barley spirit at 115 proof, an unaged spirit. And this thing is it is just so gorgeous. Everything they do is so amazing. I bought two bottles of this. The first one I drank, within a couple months, but I waited a while to open that one. I even thought at the time of aging it, right? Trying to put it on some oak chips to see what it would turn into, since it's all malted barley. But I didn't, and the main reason was because this product is so good as is, and I just didn't want to change it. So I mentioned brown sugar on the nose. I mentioned some toffee, but as I drink this, I feel like I'm getting just a hint of maple in there. And I mentioned the nutty notes. Yeah, it feels like you get just a hint of black walnut. Oh goodness! Wait a minute. Oh goodness! Allergies have been brutal this year here in the Oast. Ah, mercy, Percy. Anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. Whiskey Van. It's time to wrap this up. Well, I scratched my nose. I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker. Oh! MS4. I can't go for a roll here now. I'm going to try to wrap this up before I start sneezing a bunch because sometimes I feel it coming out. Anyways, Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, prepared wisdom man. I am also Tom, the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Salancha.